Okay, 12A, we're going to talk about voting and electoral college. So the way voting works is we have different sections. So the country is set up in different sections, and each section is going to have their own little mini vote, and that person's going to win. And then the winner of the election is going to be the winner of this electoral college vote. So because we have this electoral college, the majority does not always win. So like for example, this section here, the black has 6 and the white has 3, so the black wins. Here again, the black has 6, white has 3, so black wins. Same thing here, black wins. But here we have 8 whites and 1 black, so white wins. And again here, we have 8 white and 1 black, so white wins. So all total, we have 3 black and 2 white, so black wins. But if we look at the majority, if we look at overall, the black had 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, and the white had 3, 6, 9, plus 3, 6, 7, 8, so 9 plus 16 is 25. So I feel like the popular vote, the white would win. Okay, so let's kind of look at how electoral college works and why we do it. So founding fathers didn't like the idea of a popular election. This would be like your majority vote, like just whoever, kind of like your prom king and queen. It's just a popularity contest where the most votes gets the winner. Because they were concerned that the presidents would always come from the states with large populations, because that's where the majority of the votes would come from. So people would vote for the ones they know. They may not vote for the ones from the smaller towns because they just don't know them. And so it would kind of influence it that way. They're also concerned if the public would have the knowledge needed to elect a good president. A general person, including myself, I don't always know a lot about politics and what would make a good president. And so our founding fathers also kind of had that concern, and they didn't want someone to just vote someone in with the majority vote if they didn't really know anything other than what the person was saying. So the electoral college is what they decided to use. It's not exactly a college, but rather it's made up of what we call electors chosen from each state. This process uses to select both the president and the vice president. Okay, so then how do we decide how many votes everyone gets, or how many votes every state gets? So the number of electors is based on how many people the state has in Congress. So Congress, you have your 2 houses. You have your Senate and you have your House of Representatives. Now every state gets 2 representatives in the Senate. The House of Representatives is based on population. So it's going to be some number based on population. Everyone, I think it's at least 2, if I remember right. But anyway, so the bigger the state, you get the more representatives. So, for example, the most populous state, California, has 55 electors for the Electoral College. The least populous states, including Alaska, Delaware, Montana, and so on, they have 3 electors. Okay, so everyone has at least 1 House of Representative in the House. So North Carolina, where we're at, obviously, we have 15. We have 2 senators, and then we have 13 representatives in the House. So 12 plus 13 would then be 15. Okay, so the candidate that wins the most electoral votes. Oh, sorry, the candidate winning the most in each state. So the popular vote in each state gets all of that. State's electoral vote. So within each state, it is a popular vote, just like we saw in that first page. Each section has a popular vote. And then whoever wins that popular vote gets all of the electoral votes. So all total for all 50 states, we have 538 electoral votes. And you have to win you have to have a majority of the electoral votes. So the majority, it would be 270. Okay, so let's look at just closer view. How does North Carolina, or how do we have a total of 538 electoral votes? Well, we have 2 per state, 2 senators per state, so that means we have 100 senators total, 2 from each state. In the House of Representatives, we have 435, and that's just something you can look up. And then one thing different is that in Washington, D.C., which does not get any senators or representatives, they do get electors. So that is the only exception to this rule. So again, here's a map of electoral votes by state. So each state and how many electoral votes they get. So for example, Texas gets 38, New Mexico gets 5, Colorado gets 9, and so on. Okay, so we talked a little about some of the pros of Electoral College when we talked about how the Founding Fathers decided on it. Now, there are some things people don't like about it, that candidates can just target states with a lot of votes, such as California. So when they're campaigning, so they may only go to that state and may really focus on that state and then ignore the smaller ones. The other bad thing is that a candidate only needs one more popular vote than his opponent to get all the state's electoral votes. So one state could be pretty divided, but just that one difference will make a big difference in Electoral College. So because of that, there have been several occasions when the president was elected with a majority of the electoral votes, but they actually did not win the popular vote. We actually saw that recently, which we'll see here in this chart down here. So what happens if nobody wins the majority of electoral votes? So there's, let's say we have 3 people running and no one gets the majority. Well, then the House of Representatives will choose the winner, with each state having only one vote. Okay, so here is, not counting 2020, because when these notes were printed, we didn't have the 2020 results, but from 1992 to 2016, these are the presidential races and who won the presidency and who won the popular vote. So in 92, we have Clinton and Bush, Bush Sr. Clinton won both the popular and the presidency. Then Clinton ran again, this time against Dole. Again, Clinton won the popular vote and the presidency. In 2000, we have Gore and Bush Jr. Gore won the popular vote, but Bush won the presidency. And then we have Kerry versus Bush again. This time Bush won the presidency and the popular vote. So he lost it in 2000, but then he won it in 2004. And then we have Obama and McCain in 2008. Obama won both the popular and the presidency. Obama ran again, this time against Romney. And again, Obama won the popular and the presidency. 2016, we had Clinton versus Trump. Of course, Trump won the presidency, but Clinton won the popular vote. Okay, let's look at an example of, again, just comparing the popular vote versus electoral vote. So let's look at the 2016 presidential election. We want to determine the margins of victory in both absolute and percentage terms for the popular and electoral vote. So the different candidates, we have Trump, Clinton, Johnson, Stein, and other candidates. We have how many popular votes they received and how many electoral votes they received. Now the 7 electors represented 2 who had originally committed to vote for Trump and 5 for Clinton, but then voted for other candidates when the Electoral College met. So add all these up total and you would get your 538. So let's compute the candidate's percentage of the total popular vote. Okay, so Clinton received what percent of the popular vote? So Clinton got 65 million votes. So 65, 844, 969. So that's how many votes she received out of a total number of 136,452,150. So again, this is a percent of, so we're going to say the is over the of or the part over the whole. We would divide that and we would get 0.4825, which is 48.25%. Okay, Trump, the number of votes he got was 62,979,984 out of a total of 136 million. You divide that and you get 0.4616, which is 46.16%. So if you're looking at this, neither of them actually got the majority of the popular vote. To get the actual majority, you have to get over 50%. So none got over 50%. But if you're looking at just the one with a higher percentage, it's Clinton. So Clinton had a higher percentage over Trump. So let's say that she won the popular vote. Now let's look at the electoral vote. So Clinton got 227 votes out of the total 538. So that would be 0.4219. So that percentage is 42.19%. Again, remember this round to 2 decimal places, that is after you change to a percent. So you're not going to say 0.42 and then only put 42% here. Okay, Trump, he had 304 votes here out of a total of 538. You would divide that and get 0.5651 or 56.51%. Okay, so Trump was clearly the winner of the electoral vote because he was higher than Clinton. He was also over 50%. But again, we see that Clinton got more percentage of the popular, but she did not win the electoral vote. So the answer to this question is no, they're not the same. All that really matters is the electoral vote. And we know that Trump became president. Okay, let's do it again. This time let's look at the 2012 election. Okay, so stream down a little bit. Now I want the percentage of total popular vote. So here we have popular votes in this last column. Obama got 65,907,213 out of a total vote of 129,000,000. 0.064662. We would divide that and got 0.5107. So Obama got 51.07% of the popular vote. Here we already see that this is a majority because there's over 50%. So we know Obama won the popular vote here. But for kicks and giggles, let's figure out what Romney got. Remember, this is not going to add up to 100 because there were other people that people could vote for instead of just the two. But Romney got 60,931,767 for a total of 129,064,662. Divide that and get 0.4721, so you get 47.21% of the popular vote. Okay, so Obama clearly won this one. Okay, looking at electoral vote, Obama got 332. Here we don't have the popular vote filled in, but we know that there should be a total of 538. In this case, all the electoral votes went towards one or the other, because we have 332 plus 206 equals 538. So Obama got 332 out of the total, which gives us 0.6171. So the percentage here is 61.71% of the electoral vote. Again, we see that this is already way over the 50% needed, so we would know that Obama would win the electoral vote as well. But for kicks and giggles, let's do Romney again. So Romney is 206 out of 538. We get 0.3829. So it's 38.29% of the electoral vote. So in this case, Obama won both the popular and the electoral vote. So this answer is yes. So clearly Obama became the president. And that was it for the section.